The person who once spent so much energy playing games with you is now trapped in a cycle of bad luck and emotional turmoil. After causing you pain and walking away as if it didn't matter, they're beginning to realize the consequences of their actions. What they thought was a harmless way to manipulate the situation has spiraled out of control, and now they find themselves on the losing side of fate. No matter how hard they try to ignore it, their life is unraveling because of the way they treated you. Everything they're going through is directly tied to how they mistreated you, and they're starting to feel the full weight of their actions. It's as if they can't catch a break, and no matter what they do, things only seem to get worse. They are losing control, and after everything they put you through, it's becoming impossible for them to hold back much longer. Emotions that they've been trying to suppress are bubbling to the surface. Embarrassment, guilt, and regret are eating away at them. They know they have no choice but to face the truth, no matter how hard they've tried to avoid it. The lies they told themselves and others can no longer cover the reality of what they've done. They are teetering on the edge, ready to rush in with the truth they've been hiding for so long. They are deeply embarrassed, not just by what they did, but by the fact that they are now reaping the consequences of their own actions. Their emotions are raw, and they feel exposed and vulnerable. What once seemed like a game to them has turned into a nightmare they can't escape. Your intuition was always on point. You sensed all along that the way they treated you would eventually come back to haunt them. You knew, deep down, that their actions would lead them to bad luck and misery. Karma is real, and now they are living proof of that. Everything they did to you is returning to them in the form of bad luck, setbacks, and failures. What's worse for them is that your energy, your calm, unbothered attitude, is driving them absolutely mad. The more they struggle, the more they see how unaffected you are, and it only deepens their misery. They can't stand the fact that you are thriving, while they are drowning in the consequences of their actions. They're living in a world of regret, wishing they could turn back time and undo the pain they caused. The weight of their guilt is becoming unbearable. They replay moments in their mind, fantasizing about how different things could be if they had treated you better. Every decision they made to hurt you is now a source of deep regret. They are overwhelmed with a sense of powerlessness. They know that no matter how much they wish they could change the past, they can't. They are heartbroken, not just by the loss of the relationship, but by the realization that they were the ones who destroyed it. You meant so much to them, though they didn't show it at the time. They made you feel like you were nothing, but in reality, you were everything to them. But don't worry, because justice is on your side. Everything you have done, all the good deeds, all the love and patience you gave them without receiving it in return, is coming back to you in the form of blessings. You are beginning to feel lighter, more at peace, and more content with your life. The heaviness that you once carried has lifted, and now you are stepping into a period of your life where you are truly flourishing. The tough cycles you went through have only made you stronger and braver. You've been tested, but you came out of it more resilient than ever before. What they saw as your weakness was actually your strength all along. Meanwhile, they chose the easy way out. Rather than facing their own emotions and taking responsibility for their actions, they walked away from the connection, thinking it would be easier to abandon it than to work on it. They believed that leaving would free them from the guilt and consequences, but now they see that stepping back was the worst decision they could have made. Instead of finding peace, they are now paying the price for their avoidance. The karmic debt is heavy, and the more they try to escape it, the more it follows them. The tables have turned. You, who once felt betrayed and discarded, are now the one standing strong, while they are left to deal with the fallout of their own choices. Life has a way of balancing things out, and now, it's your time to thrive, while they face the consequences of their actions. Your journey of healing and self-growth is leading you to better things, while they are left to confront the reality of what they've lost. I know you wonder how I feel about you, and I've been thinking about how to express everything that's been going through my mind. The truth is, I've stayed distant, not because I wanted to, but because the way others perceive our connection has weighed heavily on me. The opinions and judgments of those around us have affected me more than I care to admit. It's not easy for me to deal with the pressure and expectations that come from outside forces, and at times, it's overwhelmed me. This distance, though, doesn't mean you aren't on my mind, far from it. You are always with me in some way, no matter where I am. Every day, I find reminders of you. In conversations, I keep hearing your name, or I see little signs that make me think of you, whether it's a song, a place we used to go, or something as simple as a random coincidence. These signs remind me that no matter how far apart we are, you are still very much a part of my life, even in the smallest, most unexpected ways. I've thought about reaching out to you more times than I can count. The thought crosses my mind every time I catch one of these reminders, and honestly, I miss you. I miss everything about you, from the way we used to talk to the moments of laughter we shared. The silence between us now feels heavier than I ever imagined it would. If I could go back, I wish I had told you how much you truly mean to me. There are so many things left unsaid, so many feelings I never properly expressed, and I regret that deeply. I know my silence may have hurt you, and for that, I am sorry. I didn't intend for things to go the way they did. Sometimes life has a way of getting in the way, and before we know it, time has slipped through our fingers, leaving us with missed opportunities and words we can't take back. But even though things have not gone the way I had hoped, one thing remains clear to me: you are my star. You are the person who lights up my life, and I can't imagine anyone else filling that space in my heart. No matter what obstacles come our way, I won't let anyone come between us or take your place. You are everything I've ever wanted, and no matter how complicated things get, that won't change. There's a connection between us that is unlike anything I've ever experienced before, something deep and powerful that I can't fully explain, but I know it's real. That being said, I am afraid. I'm afraid to take the next step toward you, even though every part of me wants to. My fear isn't rooted in doubt about my feelings for you, it's more about uncertainty and insecurity. I worry that you may not feel the same, or that perhaps too much time has passed for us to bridge the gap that has grown between us. So I wait, hoping you will make the first move, or give me a sign that it's okay to reach out. I know that might not be fair, but the fear of rejection or making things worse has held me back. I keep hoping for some signal, some small gesture from you that will let me know that there's still a chance for us, that it's not too late to fix what's broken. I also understand that there is a lot of hurt in your heart. The trust issues, the resentment, the sadness, and the pain, all of it is there because of me, because of the things I said or didn't say, and the actions I took or failed to take. I know I've made mistakes, and I can't undo the past, but I want you to know that I'm aware of the pain I've caused, and I regret it more than words can express. I've spent a lot of time reflecting on everything that's happened between us, and I realize now how much I took for granted. If I could, I would do things differently, but I can't change the past. All I can do is hope that there's still a chance for us to move forward. This message, I believe, resonates with those who are on a journey similar to ours, a journey often referred to as the twin flame journey. It's not an easy path, filled with ups and downs, moments of joy, and deep pain. We may be in the initial or middle phase of this journey, but no matter where we are, I believe our connection is something extraordinary, something worth fighting for. I may be waiting for a sign from you, but I want you to know that I'm still here, holding on to hope, believing in what we could be. I hate it when you stop calling, texting, or giving me attention. It makes me feel invisible, like I no longer matter to you. I understand it's not fair for me to complain about this, especially since I've done the same to you in the past. There were times when I withdrew or pulled back, either because I was too overwhelmed or didn't realize how much it hurt you. But now, I'm on the receiving end of that distance, and it's making me realize just how painful it is. I didn't fully grasp how much my actions affected you before, but now that I'm experiencing it myself, I understand more deeply how hurtful it can be when someone you care about goes silent. It's strange to think about how much things have changed between us. Before, I didn't give much thought to how my behavior impacted you. I would go silent without thinking twice, caught up in my own life, assuming everything would just fall back into place when I was ready to reconnect. Now, however, I'm starting to see things from your perspective. It feels like we've switched roles. I used to be the one who was distant, but now I'm the one waiting for your texts, your calls, your attention. It feels like you've taken my place, and I've taken yours. This shift has opened my eyes to what you must have felt, and it's not easy to sit with. You've become so reserved lately. It's like you've built a wall around yourself and locked me out. You seem so focused on your life, and it appears like nothing bothers you anymore, not even me. It's unsettling because I used to be the one you turned to, the one you shared everything with. Now, you seem unbothered by my absence, and while I know it's probably for your own good, it makes me feel anxious. It's hard for me to see you so composed and distant when I'm struggling with my emotions. This change in your behavior is making me realize that I may have taken your presence for granted when we were closer. I didn't appreciate how much effort it took for you to keep reaching out, and now that you've stopped, I feel the emptiness. I understand why you've distanced yourself. Looking back, I realized that I was behaving irrationally, almost like I was losing control of myself. I let my emotions get the best of me, and it must have been exhausting for you to deal with. I know now that my behavior pushed you away and forced you to set up these healthy boundaries. I recognize that I wasn't being fair to you, and I can't blame you for needing space. In fact, I admire you for having the strength to create those boundaries when I couldn't. You did what was necessary for your own well-being, even though it's painful for me to admit that I'm the reason you had to go silent. I have to accept that I was a coward. Instead of facing my emotions head-on and being honest with you about how I felt, I retreated into my own confusion and allowed things to spiral out of control. I was overwhelmed by the positive emotions you brought into my life, and instead of embracing them, I became fearful. I didn't know how to handle the vulnerability that came with caring about you so deeply. As a result, I pulled away when I should have stayed present. I was too scared to face the intensity of what I was feeling, and I can see now how that must have hurt you. I wish I had handled things differently. I wish I had been more open, more honest, and less fearful. Trust me, I can feel that you're upset with me, even though you haven't said it outright. It's like I can sense your frustration and disappointment on an energetic level. I know I let you down, and that knowledge weighs heavily on me. I'm trying to learn from this, to understand what I did wrong so that I can grow from it. But it's hard when the distance between us feels so wide, and I don't know how to bridge that gap anymore. All I can do now is hope that with time, things will heal. I hope that one day, we can talk again, and I can express everything I've learned from this experience. I want to apologize to you in person, not just for how I behaved but for not valuing you enough when I had the chance. You've taught me a lot, even in your silence. I understand now how important it is to respect someone's boundaries and to communicate openly, even when it's uncomfortable. I only wish I had realized these things sooner before we ended up where we are now.